Today, the Kansas City Chiefs defensive backs showed off in camp. And as well, we made an interesting move to help bolster up our defensive line depth. But before we do dive into any of that, please be sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video, as I'm going to keep you up to date on anything Kansas City Chiefs related throughout the season that you do not want to miss out on. And without further ado, let's dive into this defense. Tuesday afternoon, the Kansas City Chiefs made an interesting acquisition. Actually, it's something I wasn't expecting. I was expecting a small acquisition to where they would bolster up their line a little bit more, and maybe it is small in some people's aspect, but they went out and they signed Danny Shelton, defensive tackle formerly of the New York Giants, and he's been across the league throughout his career. And honestly, I found it interesting was because I didn't expect a name like that to come to Kansas City. Now, we know him as the former first-round pick, and you can say what you want if he's lived up to the potential of that first-round pick or not. For me, it's been inconsistent throughout his whole career. But honestly, I love the move. Like, it's more depth on that defensive tackle position. I still think that either Derek Nottie is going to be your replacement, your coherent to Chris Jones, and they'll be partnered up, and then Danny Shelton will come in and basically stuff the run is what he's been good at too. And then it kind of puts your eyes out onto where what's up with Colin Saunders. Now, he did make some plays in camp today, and I don't know if he knew the move was going to come or what. And I've seen him, I follow him on social media too, and he says he's poised for a big year, and I hope he is, because he is a very athletic guy who just hasn't found a way to break free and actually make an impact on this team. I'm hoping this training camp and preseason he has found a way. But with the Chiefs making an acquisition like that, it lets you know that they needed to bolster up that depth. And Chiefs Kingdom knew that as well, that one of their weak points coming into this season was going to be that defensive line. And whether what kind of impact you think Danny Shelton will make, I would kind of view him like a Mike Pennell. Like, I don't know if he'll, and it's not like Mike Pennell went crazy, but when he was out there, you love to see him out there. He was stuffing the run. He was getting occasional sacks, and I think that's what Danny Shelton can do. Like I mentioned, very good run stuffer, and I think it's a good acquisition, and it could be a sneaky acquisition once the year starts to age into November and December, when all these teams are going to start to do is run the football when it gets colder weather too. And as well too, injuries always happen, and if an injury happens on a line, you can put him in there too, and then you have that depth. I love the two moves they made recently with bringing in Carlos Dunlap last week, and now you bring in Danny Shelton. It makes you feel more comfortable about this line moving forward, because it was huge question marks. We're like, damn, we don't have a pass rusher to complement Frank Clark, and then of course, we have George Karlaftis, but the verdict is out on him. As much as I think he is going to be great, he's a rookie, so it's going to take time. And then at the defensive tackle position, after Chris Jones, it's like, who do we have there? It's like, what if Chris Jones gets hurt, which has happened in the past too. It's like, what do we do there? Not saying Danny Shelton is going to be an immediate like plug in if Chris Jones gets hurt. There will still be question marks, but the depth there is very solid, and I'm excited to see them build this line, and it just looks way better than it did a couple months ago, and I think it's answering a lot of questions that a lot Chiefs Kingdom had on this line. Now we had a familiar face come back, and he was activated off the PUP, Rashad Fenton, and I'm glad to see him back. He's basically a veteran in this young DB room, which is exciting to see. Him and Snead are going to be the ones leading that core, and honestly, he was thrown right into the one-on-one actions too, and it was an unfortunate play, but it was a really good play. I love to see him sticking with Juju the whole way, and Juju just mossed him, and at the end of the day, he won the rep. But it's good to see, like, Fenton, I don't know if he's 100%, but working back in the lineup is huge, and he's going to be a huge need throughout the season too. That's why I can see KC doing kind of like what they're doing with Orlando Brown. Even though he's not hurt, it's proceed with caution. Let's get him right, and let's see how we can manage his snaps going forward too, because we don't want to have him injured going into September. Let's get him fully healthy in September, and then basically guns a-blazing, and then you would have, I was going to say you would have Snead and Fenton, but we're going to talk a little bit more about this DB room, because McDuffie is doing things that he's impressing me. Like, he's going off. He's going berserk. We talk about him getting better by the day. I think he's getting better by the play. Today, he just went absolute bananas, and I'm going to dive more into that too. But with Fenton, we know the type of potential he has. He's going to be fully out there next year, and he basically, like a lot of Chiefs Kingdom says, he created an own island out there where Not a lot of people threw at him, and when they did, it wasn't going to be completed. He had pass breakups, and he was making plays on the football. Now it's going to be fun to see him in full action too, taking either a number 2 spot or number 3. Like, I don't know how it's going to pan out, because this cornerback room, this was another position where we thought, we're very slim, we're definitely inexperienced, but the talent is there. And with this young talent, they're starting to mesh. And if they mesh early on too, this is going to be a fun defense to watch in the going futures and in this year. Like we always mention, it's going to be fun to see Patrick Mahomes with a good defense. Let's hope it clicks early on this year. Man, and let's talk about these DBs, because like I mentioned, I don't know what they was on today, but they had to make their presence or their mark. Maybe they were tired of these wide receivers getting the best of them, but this is what camp is about too, because wide receivers have been going off one day, and then the DBs have been showing up. It's supposed to be a battle. It's supposed to make everyone better. And today, the DBs made sure, wide receivers, you going to get our best. And I'm going to focus on McDuffie right away, because he was shutting down MVS, McCole Hardman. I think I even saw one play on Juju too, where he was getting pass breakups, he was getting interceptions. He is very sticky, whether it be with the ball or on the receiver. You are not going to lose him. And that's what I mean when I say he is getting better by the play, because early on we did not mention his name whatsoever. And we were wondering, like, okay, what's going on with the Rook? Is he going to be a presence? Is he struggling in camp? What is going on? It was just a learning curve. But once he learned, he was all full head of steam go. And it's just crazy to see, like, highlights after highlights being posted in camp. And I know you shouldn't make too much of camp, but to watch someone learn that quickly and to get better by the play is crazy to see. And I'm going to focus on another rookie too, and it's funny too. If you've seen these plays, these DBs got the best at MVS, and I don't want to say MVS struggled today, because he did make some good plays too. But a lot of these interceptions and these pass breakups came against MVS. They gave him a complete challenge today. And Joshua Williams gave him a complete challenge in the red zone too, where I don't want to say MVS gave up on the route, but it was, again, Joshua Williams was sticky with it, and when they cut back out, he made a better play on the ball and got it. And Joshua Williams is going to be another interesting one too, because yes, he's our 4th round pick. He's a rookie, but maybe he can play slot right away, and I think that's what's going to be too. And that's when we talk about Fenton too, because we know the type of potential and type of asset he is to this team. It's like, where do you put him in the cornerback room? Is he still your number 2 cornerback? And then you move McDuffie and, see, I don't like that. Like, and then you move McDuffie and Williams into the slot, and then you run with Snead and Fenton outside. Fenton has been good outside, but I feel like McDuffie is your outside cornerback. It's going to be interesting to see the type of sets they run with these DBs, because they haven't been balling out in this camp. And another guy I didn't mention either was DeCabrio Boodle too, who was also good late in the last year, and he was really good in the preseason. He's going to be an interesting name going forward too. He made some plays too. This DB room has depth. And I think you hear me saying it a lot with this Kansas City Chiefs team. This is the deepest team we have seen in, I don't know, forever. Like, I don't, knock on wood or whatever, but I don't want no one to get hurt. But it's like, you would feel comfortable if someone got hurt, because someone can easily come and replace besides Patrick Mahomes. And now I really got to knock on wood, because I don't know if I feel comfortable with Chad Henne coming in. But any other position, it's like, wow, we are very, very deep. And it's exciting to see, because it wouldn't derail a chance of winning a game or making a stretch down throughout the season. And I'm excited to see how this team goes moving forward with this defense. This is funny to see. Usually when we start a new season, we're all excited about the offense, which we still are, because there's a lot of new pieces we should be excited about. But same on this defense too. And it feels like with this defense can be better than ever. And I think that's why a lot of Chiefs Kingdom is so excited for the potential that this defense brings this year. And now we're going to hop into the play of the day. And it's no other than our favorite quarterback, the GOAT, Patrick Mahomes. Now, this shit's just absurd. How do you throw, basically, I don't know the yardage, but it had to be at least 30 yards left-handed behind your back and hit the goalpost still? That is ridiculous. And it's funny, a lot of people watch it and they're just like, oh, it's just Patrick Mahomes is doing his thing. But it's like, if any other quarterback does that, the whole world loses their mind. We're getting so accustomed to what Patrick Mahomes does, it's just crazy. What would be crazy to see, and I don't recommend him doing it, but with how much he practices it, if he throws a pass behind his back in a game, it's gonna that would be so absurd. It would be ridiculous to see. But if they're up by 35, and maybe you can risk it in interception, maybe risk it in completion or something like that, I'm all for it. Because if it's completed, they'll be like, what is this kid doing? And it would be fun to see. But with that, Chiefs Kingdom, I'm closing out this video. Please be sure to subscribe to the channel. Like this video as well, as I will keep you up to date on anything Kansas City Chief related. And with that, I'll check in with y'all tomorrow. Y'all take care. Peace.